Hey YouTube, welcome to the channel. I'm Chris. Happy new comic book day. Really exciting day. Today we have Absolute Batman number 15 out, the origin of Absolute Joker, which is insane. I got to read it already digitally, but I'm excited to actually have the physical copy in my hand just because of Jock's art. Like, he does a lot of double page spreads. Also, tomorrow at Midtown Comics Downtown, there's going to be a signing with Scott Snyder that I'm going to try to go to. So actually today, I'm really only going to get Absolute Batman number 15, and then maybe Infernal Hulk too. So it's going to be a light haul because really Christmas is coming up and I still got to buy a bunch of gifts. But exciting, come with me. We're going to go to Midtown, check out some things, have a good new comic book day. So come with me. Before I head out, I wanted to start with the comic book of the day. So living in New York City, I don't have a car, so I read on the train. It's embarrassing, I don't have a driver's license, but if you ever know anyone from New York City, that is actually not that rare or uncommon. But DC The New Frontier from Darwin Cook, Dave Stewart, one of the all-time great comic book stories. Also, I got introduced to this through the animated movie, which at this point came out like 20 years ago. I know I feel old. But just great. It's also a great starter book. Like if you're trying to learn more about the DC universe, this is one of the great sort of books that you could dive into and learn more about each character. You get pieces of their origin. It's sort of like, it's not canon, but I think it takes a lot from canons. It's really sort of like a love letter to the DC universe. And I think alongside things like the Justice League animated series, Batman the animated series, Superman the animated series, The New Frontier was something that really gave me my love for the DC universe and these characters and this universe. So I think if you're looking for something, especially now with the holidays, to get someone that you're like, this is the DC universe, DC The New Frontier, available in compact format, which is amazing, especially as a commuter, because I love comic books, but I honestly like the formats, whether it be sort of like Absolute, Omnibus, like all these things that actually collect the full stories are not great to kind of travel around with. They're good to sit down at home and sort of like really experience the art. But as a commuter, like this is perfect. Like it's alongside like manga in terms of the format. Most of them, except something like this, which is super thick, you can kind of fit in your pocket or a small bag, whereas most comic book formats, I need a book bag to have it. So DC The New Frontier, available now in compact format. You can get it at your LCS, or you can get it actually at a local bookstore. I got it at Barnes & Noble because every time I go into Midtown Comics or any comic book store, it's always sold out, and rightfully so. It's a classic. So yeah, DC The New Frontier, available now. No, you don't. Listen, you don't. There's so many.
Here's at Jackson Dykes Brooklyn Avenue for the E, F, M, and R lines on both sides of the station. Those elevators are out of service for trains to Grand Central. 1, 2, 3, and 7 trains connection to Port Authority Bus Terminal.
They had signed copies of Infernal Hulk #1 from PKJ, which is awesome. Midtown does have a lot of signings, and if they have leftover stock, they'll keep it actually on the website and in store. So I think I'm going to circle back after, I get my money back up. It's crazy to me that Infernal Hulk #2 is already out since it came out like 2 weeks ago, #1. This is The Ordained, which I think already has a movie in the works with Colin Farrell, so that's going to be dope. I'm behind on Ultimate Spider-Man by a lot, but I've seen some reactions to this issue, and I think I need to catch up before it gets spoiled for me. And then Ultimate Wolverine #12. I love this series. I know people are not high on it, but I love it. So I'm going to circle back and get this issue again once I get my money back up. The End 2099. I love the 2099 universe, but honestly, I've read some of the Orlando stuff and I didn't fall in love with it. But since it's continued, I think I'm going to go back to it. Looking around Midtown Comics, I just wanted to give you guys a little peek at what the shop looks like. It's huge. It's great for new issues and sort of like collected editions, but if you're the type that's into back issues, the Times Square location honestly is not the best for that. Unless you're looking for something that came out like a couple weeks ago, a couple months ago. Look at Superman. The second floor of Midtown Comics Times Square is where all the collectibles and toys are. As you can see, there's the Funko Pops. Even when I was into Funkos, I never really shopped there for them because they never really have exclusives. The hot toys are really awesome. I will say there's not a lot of changeover, so I don't think a lot of people buy them. I have a few hot toys, but honestly, they were pieces that were gifted to me, whether it be my Thanos or my Joker. Again, not the best place for back issues unless you're looking for a variant cover that came out recently. But it's pretty organized on the second floor. It's calm because you don't have a lot of people digging through the back issues. Because the Times Square location, you get a lot of tourists. The people that actually live in the city that are like kind of like residential really only go during the morning. Like on New Comic Book Day, they open extra early at 8 a.m. and that's when you'll see a lot of people that live in the city. Actually, that's where I usually catch DJ Links. Give him a subscribe if you don't know. DJ Links does great unboxings, great New York City content with comics. But yeah, it's mostly a touristy spot, so you don't really see people digging through these back issue bins.
Animal that you're being confused. Like, is he a different animal? The point is, you'd be like, oh, he's definitely back.
They do have a good selection of collectibles. Like I said, you can see the Distillery Cat there. They have manga and anime. Look at Kaiju number 8. So it's a really great spot to kind of like look for these things, especially like bigger format collectibles. If I ever won the lottery, I would not tell any of you, but there would be signs. Also, this is kind of like the anime and kind of like fashion corner. I've always wanted to get like one of these pieces, but I remember when I was a kid and I bought one of these Gundams and then I opened it to be completely surprised that I had to build it and then the instructions were in Japanese. So I've been afraid to do it, but now that I'm an adult, I think it's time to take the plunge.
It's still wild that that's even happening to a company like Warner Brothers. Like, you know, I remember being a kid going to the WD store, like.
I do too. Wow.
And now they're getting even.
The one I remember was in Times Square.
They also have a lot of recent figures, so if you're excited about the Supergirl trailer, look, it's Zombie Supergirl. A lot of cool stuff here. I think I'm always kind of like hesitant to jump into the McFarlane space. I do have a few DC Multiverse McFarlanes, but I've seen some great collectors that have such great collections, and it gets me tempted, but I have way too many bad habits already when it comes to collecting, whether it be Blu-rays, comic books. I'm into Labubus, sadly. Like, look at this Marvel Legends Daredevil. I really want this so bad. I need to pull the trigger on it. Look at Beast. Some really cool figures. Honestly, I think a lot of this stuff is geared towards adults. But if I was a kid and they existed, I'd definitely be begging my mom for it. Geiger number 19. I remember last year at New York Comic Con, Jeff Johns and the Ghost Machine team joked that by now they'd be higher numbered than Marvel and DC, and they weren't wrong. I'm back. I have a giant haul of one book. I said it earlier, like tomorrow Scott Snyder's signing, so I'm excited about that. It's also Christmas is coming up, so I gotta buy a bunch of gifts still. I'm a last minute kind of guy, and I need to get better at that. But of course, I had to get this. I've already read it digitally, and I read it on the train physically, and it's just like Jock's art, you need it physically. Like, you need to experience it. Frank Martin, who has been the colorist on the entire series, is coloring Jock. So it's really cool that despite Absolute Batman having in these fill-in artists for certain arcs, like with the Absolute Mr. Freeze, we also got Clayman in one issue of the Abomination arc. It is consistent in terms of like the way it's told, the story. And I think Scott Snyder is getting to do the absolute, like, the Joker he's always wanted to do. I think he's always felt the Joker had more potential in terms of like an evil that permeates throughout Gotham. But because he's always written Batman in the mainline continuity, he's always kind of been, you know, with one hand tied behind his back in terms of what he wants to do, which is why he created, you know, the Batman Who Laughs, who kind of like, if you see that, you see where this comes from. And I love the story. I won't spoil too much about it. We get the origin of Absolute Joker. What's cool is that, yes, you get, this is the first big look at Absolute Joker. He's an evil billionaire. There's a lot in terms of where he comes from. But what's really dope is that, like most Joker origins, there's nothing for certain. So it leaves a lot of room to kind of interpretation of the reader, but also like things that they can tell further on. And I don't think Scott is ever going to come off Absolute Batman, but if there does come a point where there are other creatives, like we saw with Daniel Warren Johnson, that want to take a stab at Absolute Joker, they have a lot of room. But like, look, insane. Great book. Excited to see Scott tomorrow. Usually with a Batman signing, it's insane. I went to the Absolute Batman #1 signing at Midtown Comics downtown with Dragata and Scott Snyder. Now, that was a #1. That's very different. This is issue 15. So we'll see. It's also super cold in New York. But like I said, it's Batman, it's Scott Snyder, so I'm going to try to get there early. Hopefully have a little time to kind of talk to them. I'm going to try to vlog, but sometimes it's a little hard to record myself and them. But I'm excited. I'm excited to get this signed. I think I'm going to go, because you have to buy the book at Midtown Comics downtown. So I'm going to buy maybe like 2 more issues and stuff, because the limit is 3 signatures. They're free as long as you buy the book. You could just buy 1 book from there and then bring some personal items. I've met Scott before, so I've had plenty of things signed. So I want to get this signed. Maybe some of my other Absolute Batman issues, but honestly, I just want all of these Absolute Jokers signed. This is going to be a key issue. I think if you're someone that speculates on comics, like, I think you kind of have to have this. This is the origin of Absolute Joker, and we're seeing Absolute Batman #1 like literally shoot up in price. I'm glad I got my issue when I did, especially double signed. So exciting stuff. Love this book. Excited about tomorrow. It was a great new comic book day, but I kind of had to skip a lot of books, like Ultimate Spider-Man I'm behind on, Infernal Hulk #2. That's really exciting. So there were really good books today that I'll probably catch up on next week. But like I said, I was trying to not spend too much money, because tomorrow I got to buy some books for the signing, and then I also got to get some Christmas gifts. But yeah, what did you guys get on New Comic Book Day? What are some of the books that you're most excited about? And what did you think of Absolute Joker? Let me know. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace.